So today I thought it would be fun if we looked at 10 things you really should not do if you go to America.
I really don't like when people do that.
This is stuff I've picked up along the way, and some of it might seem basic to you, but it sure came as a surprise to me. There's always people who watch these videos and go, that doesn't apply to me. It's a generalization, so
it's just my opinion.
Do be sure to subscribe, otherwise Chewy will think you don't like him. Before we get into the video, my old pals at Function of Beauty are back to sponsor a video. Yay! Legit, since I started using their products, my hair has been so much better, and some of you guys noticed. Thank you. The reason I go back to Function of Beauty is because they create a product just for you. Their whole shtick is a unique formula for unique hair. Like me, they embrace the weird. Function of Beauty creates custom shampoos for your hair type and hair goals, and they make it really easy. Fill out a 2-minute quiz outlining your hair type, hair goals, and personalized preferences. You get to pick what color you want and what smell. There's no parabens, sulfates, or GMOs, which all do be things what do be in hair products. It's also vegan and cruelty free, which is important to we. The latest combo I've gone for has been keeping the colour fresh between salon visits, and also it's nice and volumized, which is a fancy hair word for poofy. And I like poofy. Also, my name's on the bottle. Oh. It comes with loads of fun extras like bobbins and a pump. Oh. And I even got a leave-in conditioner, which makes my hair smell good. Click on the link below in the description box to get 20% off your first order and support a sponsor who supports this channel. And on with the list. Coming in at number 10, it's something that you've probably heard a lot, but maybe you've never heard it at all, because my mom said it was the first time she heard it, and then I had to question, do you even watch this channel, Denise? Hi mommy, love you. It's factoring in surprise paying for things, including tipping and taxes, and I'm also going to throw parking in there. Parking is actually really expensive in America. But yes, when you go to pay for something in America, the VAT, which we have in Europe, is not included in the sales price, and they call it sales tax. So you might go to buy a top that's $10, and when you go to pay for it, it's actually $10.60. It depends on the state, but the sales tax is different everywhere. And this is so normal in America that it can be unusual for Americans to see us struggle with the concept.
Okay, how are you not getting this?
But things are more expensive than you think they're going to be, so just be aware of that. Also, tipping, as most of you guys know, tipping is something I've struggled with for sure, and you have to tip in America if you're getting like food off somebody.
You know, sir, tipping is customary.
Not in fast food places. This is where the comes in. But yes, you have to tip a waiter or waitress, or you have to tip somebody who does your nails. Basically somebody who performs a service for you, because as I understand it, they're not paid very much at all and rely on your tips. It's a very unusual system for a European to understand, but it is what it is. So if you're visiting there, just get on the good ship, tip.
Oh, I like that very much.
The next thing you need to not forget to do is bring your ID everywhere. And this is the case even if you're 50 years of age, because I've seen old people get asked for their IDs. So basically what you guys have explained to me is that the people who sell you alcohol are liable to be prosecuted if you're under the age of 21, which by the way is way too old. It should be 18. Just my thoughts.
Well, nobody asked you, Ellen.
So everywhere asks you for ID, even if you look over the age of 21, because they're all just, oh, they don't want to get put in jail and stuff. Or actually, it's probably have to pay a fine. That's probably worse. A couple of days in the slammer, you can handle it, am I right? Don't ask me to pay $100 unnecessarily. I don't actually know it's $100, but I gotta imagine it's steep. So you have to bring your passport or your driving license or whatever around with you, which is a little bit of safety concern, but you just have to do that over there. The next one is a little bit, it's a bit, I didn't think I'd ever talk about this on a public forum, but it's just something you need to know, and maybe it applies more to the lady viewers than the male viewers.
Brace yourself!
In America, their loos have really high water, like the water comes up really high in the loo. Also, in a lot of public restrooms, they're not, well, they're not so much sterile a lot of times. In America, you're going to need to learn to hover above the loo seat rather than make contact with it with your arse. And there's a couple of reasons for this, because it could be gross to sit on, and also because a lot of times the lavatories in America automatically flush, so you're sitting on it, and unbeknownst to you, you get a little bidet. Oh my! And that water splashes right up because it's only like a couple of inches from the surface. So don't sit on the seat. Moving along, I suggest you don't tease anybody you don't know very well. American people are some of the nicest people in the world. They are so friendly and really, really welcoming. And when you get to know American people, you'll find that they're just some of the nicest people in the whole entire world.
Yeah, you already said that.
However, there is a lot more people in America and therefore a lot more people who get very quickly and easily offended by things. So the Irish culture of slagging people off, aka teasing them to kind of establish your boundaries with them, is not so much a go-to when it comes to American people. You can definitely slag off your friends who are American or the people you've gotten to know better, but there's also a possibility in America that people will be offended by things if they are that way inclined. Some people in America are very sensitive. Some people everywhere are. America's just bigger, so there's more of them.
People are strange creatures.
I found when I get to know an American, it's fine to say something sarcastic and they know I'm joking because they know what I'm like. But if it's somebody I don't know, they won't necessarily pick up on the fact that I'm joking right away. And I think that's to do with accent and demeanor and just all these tiny micro things that go on when you're talking to somebody new. So yeah, when you first meet somebody, maybe don't use too much dry humor or slag off their hairstyle or whatever. Just wait to get to know them. It's probably fine, but there's also a tiny chance that you're gonna get your head kicked in. So don't do that.
And we don't want that to happen, do we?
The next thing, building on my point with the last one, is do not be shy. American people are super friendly and they're inclined to talk to you when you're in a queue or when you're just out and about. And this is one of my favorite things about American people. They'll just start talking to you out of nowhere. Don't be surprised if they want to know what you're up to, how your trip is going, stuff like that. That's just how the American people converse. Also, don't take it too personally. They don't necessarily want to be your best friend. They're just being pleasant, just having a nice day and hoping that you have a nice day too.
Have a nice day.
The next one seems obvious when you've been to America, but when I hadn't been to America, I definitely didn't know this so much. Don't assume everything is close enough to get around in a quick space of time. Don't underestimate how massive America is. You cannot just get around fast. If you go to one state, you mightn't even get to see the whole state. Pretty much everywhere I've gone so far on trips to America is places I'm gonna have to go back to because I did not get to see the whole of the places. Most states are like little countries and driving from one end to another is a lot. Like, they're actually bigger than my whole country. You could drive from one side of Ireland to the other side of Ireland in a day. No hassle. But not so in American states. The next thing is don't expect most American people to know anything about your country. Now, regular viewers of this channel are going to be pretty educated about a lot of stuff about Ireland.
You're the best.
But the layman won't necessarily know diddly anything about Ireland. A lot of people assume it's in Britain. Some people think we're at war. Some people think we don't mostly talk English here.
Apparently you don't.
And some people have never even heard of Ireland. That's a legitimate thing. They definitely don't know about the intricacies of the history or the politics or anything like that, so just don't get mad at people for not knowing stuff. Because of pop culture, TV, films and stuff like that, we're all pretty up on our awareness of what's going on in America and current affairs.
The apocalypse is nigh.
What has gone on historically. But Americans, because America is so big, spend a lot of time preoccupied by America. And the majority of Americans never even leave their country because they don't really need to, because they have everything there. You should still travel. I mean, it's good fun to travel, so, you know, get your passport. But my point is, don't get upset if somebody said something incorrect to you. Take that opportunity to gently educate them maybe, or just nod and smile if you're not arsed. This leads on to my next point. Just because you speak English, don't necessarily use terms that you'd use in your own country. Alter your language. So for example, in Ireland and probably throughout most of Europe, we're really familiar with colloquialisms that American people have. What up, dog? Get down with your bad self. Bless your heart. But most Americans, and again, I'm not referring to the extremely educated section who watch this channel on a regular basis, have no idea about European or Irish slang terms. They won't know what up the duff means. Never heard of a yoki mabob. Are very confused when you say, oh, that's gas.
Ew.
And that's because they just haven't been exposed to it. It's not usually on their TV unless they're watching something specifically about Ireland or Irish. Our terms are not in the regular American's vernacular, so do change a couple of things that you're going to say. For example, if I'm asking for a sandwich without tomatoes, I know that you guys say tomatoes, so I'll just say tomato. It just speeds up things. And finally, the number one thing not to do in America is don't invade people's personal bubble. This one makes me feel like I might be a little bit American in sentiment. So not so much in Ireland, maybe to a degree, but more so in other parts of Europe, people are predisposed to going into each other's spaces. They do kissy cheeks, they'll brush past you in the shops, they'll come right up. There's a lot of face touching. People can be tactile. But not so in America, where the PDA is kind of frowned upon.
Get a room.
Americans and me have a little bubble of space around themselves, which they're like, don't come into this unless I know you. This is my zone of comfort. Perhaps it has something to do with the gigantism of the country again. People are not so familiar with other people and they don't like them to come into their zone of personal space. Don't touch people you don't know in America, because they might shoot you. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I think this might be a factor in like when those Black Friday crazy sales went on. You guys are so not used to touching each other and bustling and stuff that it just set off everybody's triggeriness. That's just a theory. But that's it for today's list. Do let me know below in comments anything you think I missed. I can actually think of loads just sitting here now. Let's start over. No, we'll do another list. No, we'll do another list someday. Is there anything you were surprised about when you visited Europe? Talk to you later. Bye. But yes, in America, when you go to pay for something, when you go to America, and this is so regular, and this is so regular, and Americans are so used to it, they kind of don't the next thing you need to individually, the next thing building on my point with that one, the next one is one